stature on a cow, I think about the right size is about a 54 to 56 inch cow. And this cow is probably 61, 62 maybe. She's so deep it's hard to tell. So she's at least 4 or 5 inches too tall. But that's how you tell the stature on an animal, is how high they are at the withers. That's right above the shoulder blades there. This cow is probably the correct size. She's probably, what do you think, Ken? 54 inches right now?
Yeah. So this cow we just brought out right here, she was the highest producing cow on the farm. I believe she still is, producing over, well, I don't know what she's at today.
160 then, wasn't it?
She was about over 200.
Yeah.
She's producing 200 pounds per day. As you can see, she's got a lot of things going for her. One big point that I'd like to make is you compare her to the fork, which one's bigger? And she's not the biggest cow, but she is cranking it. She's working hard.
On the cow, where her ribs are, the wider the better. That means they're more dairy. And the depth of rib,
Clean thigh.
how long they come down there, and then you come across here, and this right here is the thigh, and you want that to be a nice clean thigh.
Well, she's not bad. And
She's not bad.
You know what beef cows are. You're trying to make a thick thigh.
Right.
You go as far away from the beef as you want. That thigh where you get the big round on a beef, that's what you don't want.
We might have a cow in the barn that has a cleaner thigh than this one. This isn't quite as clean as the 2-year-old. To me, it spells production.
That's associated with milk.
With milk. That's what you want dairiness for. And you know, you get the thicker, beefier type cows, then the less milk you get. The shorter rib it is behind the chest, the less milk. The shorter the neck, that all means a short head. That all means less milk to me. And I think it does to most
The only
people.
thing you don't want to get too thin or too dairy.
Right.
You start losing strength and the ability to make milk and to stay around. The ones that get too dairy don't last long.
Yeah. And width of the animal too makes a big difference to me. You got to have a good chest on the cow, good wide rump, so you have room for the udder to sit up high. You don't want the udder sitting down here where the legs are kicking the udder back and forth. That makes some high somatic cell cows, and there's all kinds of different problems when you get a deep udder and the legs are kicking it around, or the cows in the next stall are stepping on her, or things like that. You want that udder right underneath there.
Length and width of rump is where the udder's going to hang.
Yep.
So if there's no room to go ahead or wide, and that cow does want to milk, there's only one place for the udder to go, and that's down. And then pretty soon they can go down a ways, and then the ligament can't handle the pressure, and then you're milking 2 tits on each side.
We talked about it a little bit, but it is the width of the animal and how high or how wide she is in the chest. Both these cows are adequate to me. They're not extreme wide. The straight part of it, you know, it has to do with the whole cow again. She's you can't have too much dairiness and you can't have too much strength, but you want both. And feet and legs have to do with it, you know, how well they track on their feet. But to me, the strength is the width of the animal, to have enough room in her to make this udder to be able to produce the milk that you want. Body depth, both of these cows have good body depth. It has to do with the length of the rib, the depth of the rib. And that again, from the heart, right behind the front legs, is how well she comes down here, and how long these ribs are. That's body depth.
And you want that because that's where you get your capacity. capacity from
That's
the
where
width.
you get your capacity
And the
from
depth
your
of
cows.
capacity to take in dry feed, hay or silages. And the more capacity they have, the more they can milk they can make. More feed take in, that's what it takes. Is
More
what they
intakes.
can process.
The higher the intakes. That's from the hooks to the pins, how wide they are. That cow's a little bit narrow right there. This cow has almost perfect rump width, length, and wide.
Wide in the thurls too.
Wide in the thurls right here. That's rump width.
That set her up for that wide udder.
That big wide udder
And cavities.
Okay. Yeah.
and cavities.
And that's where the rump, while you're going to, that's that next rump angle. That's where if that tail sets too far down and the pins are higher than the hips, you're going to have more calving difficulty.
These are like up here. That, and the cow doesn't clean as good. People believe that too. I do too. But it gives that track a way to clean out. Hopefully it'll stop there. Here, you see the back line of that leg there? You almost want that exactly with this line right here. That almost always makes a correct leg. That back line and this line right here. Some of them go like this, and then this leg goes like this. That's called a set to the leg. And some of them go like this, and then the leg is straighter yet on the bottom. That's a really straight posty leg. Here's the thurl right in here. And if this starts getting too far back, then the leg gets too far back, and then you got a cow that's standing with her hind legs out behind her instead of underneath her, where they need to be when they're walking.
And either way, if you get a cow that's got the thurl back too far, either too much set or too straight, they won't last long. They'll
They
be
don't.
gone. Most of these cows track very nice. That
Yeah.
rear leg rear view there, you got them hawking in and no toe out. The minute they hawk in, I don't care whether they got the right set or not, they're going to go downhill. They don't set their foot down when they walk, and it's just not. They're not going to last.
This
The
part
two
here
straight.
is the hock, and that's very important how it picks up and goes back down.
To your first picture there.
Because the
like
posty
your
legs
thing.
ones will start getting all swelling in their hocks and stuff if they're way too posty. But if these cows, if they have enough flex in their leg, they stay comfortable and they're able to produce more milk. That cow is just about perfect. These hind legs are very in line with their body. They don't go in. See that younger cow, it does hawk in a little bit, just slightly. And sometimes when that udder gets bigger, then those legs still are able to straighten out, But that more than likely will be with her her whole life. She won't walk quite as cleanly as the big cow.
And if she's fortunate to be born where somebody takes care of feet, she's never going to be a problem.
Right.
If she goes to somebody that never takes care of feet, foot and leg, then down the road she could start getting worse because the feet start wearing that way.
See that there? There's got to be about an inch of that hoof that's got to be off the ground. That keeps them away from hairy warts and stuff like that, And it also sets the foot down, so when it does walk on the cement, she's not right on the bottom of her pads.
So the foot angle would be the hairline there on the.
Yes.
And it's going this way for her. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You don't want it level with the cement. You do want it to come up a little bit, yeah. So she's able to use that foot the correct way. It's a combination of the whole thing, yeah.
How to put it all together.
How it all goes together, works
We've got
together.
a formula if you want to go find it.
That's how the fore udder blends into the belly here. This one cuts up just a little bit. It's not bad at all, but it you know, it's very acceptable. That cow is almost perfect. Sometimes you can get those udders, 4 udders, they get big when round in the front. You really don't want that either. You want the udder to be balanced.
Yeah, you're looking at the big cow, awfully good udder. There's not a lot wrong with it. She's got what they would call reverse tilt, where the rear tits get a little higher. You like to see the floor level, but her rear tits are up a little bit, but not where they're a problem.
All right, both the cows are good. But that's how high this udder can come up into her body. Like sometimes, you know, when she's really packed with milk, this rear udder could be clear up here. And the width of it, it's because she's so wide that she has room to be able to bring that udder to where it is. Yeah, that's width of rear udder and height. It's the middle seam right there. And you need that fairly strong. You need that strong to be strong. Because eventually, if they have 4 or 5 calves, eventually it gets weaker and weaker the more milk they run through these udders. So you'd like to have a really good seam on that cow. My line is, I don't like to see an udder too much below the hock. It has to do with the width of the cow. But I think this third lactation, what is she?
Third.
Probably third lactation. And the udder depth on this cow is just amazing. But see how it's at least 3-4 inches higher than the hock. So, and that's again all because that cow's got enough width in her to be able to keep that udder up. A cow that doesn't have the rump width, the thorouggh's in the right place, and the udder, you know, sure, this cow might be given 100 pounds, but it's not clean milk. It's you know, she's slapping her udder all the time, swinging it, you know, can't make it to the parlor. These guys are, you know, this kind of cow is what we do not want to breed for. But tit placement, you know, it can't be so tight that those rear tits are kissing like this 2-year-old is.
For 40 years, you couldn't get a strong enough ligament
Right.
or a close enough tit. And then all of a sudden robotics came, and now you don't want the, or even we bred them so that when the tits were full of milk, you know, even the parlor guys didn't like them, you know, because you just can't keep the, so there can be an extreme, but you don't have to worry about it very often.
And as they get older, they get it gets better. It's mostly then the 2-year-olds that wear either the kissing tits or the crossing tits. And then you got your milkers putting the one side on that, you know, the back is crossing, and they're not really getting milk correctly that way either.
And when you throw the things together, the extreme ligament tit placement and short tits, that's where the problem comes.
Yeah.
You can keep an 1.5 inch tit on, and they're close, guys can work with them, but when you get them little tits and they're tight,
And towards the end of milking, they start squawking, you know, and anytime air is coming through that, there's a chance of it getting into the canal of the tit, you know, because it's releasing the milk. So it makes it a somatic cell problem also. To me, both these cows are just about perfect for tit length. You don't really want to see them much over 3 inches longer or long. How the tit, you don't want the flat end on the tit because that retains milk right around the canal, and that's another somatic cell problem. You want that tit to kind of be like your finger, and it has to do with dairiness too. Cows that have a lot of dairiness in them seem to get a longer tit.
If you're a technician and you don't do direct sales, why is it important to know what a good cow looks like?
Because you're always talking with the owner, or you're always, you know, how do I want to say it, relating to him or telling him and he should be asking you questions also. And at least you know what you're talking about. If you're saying, hey, these cows, I think we got too much strength, or I think the feet and legs are really bad in the herd, or those kind of things, they're always open for suggestions like that, and
And that adds value to you.
that adds value to you as a tech.
Yeah, you gotta be able to tell them why this trait is profitable for them.
Yeah.
Why that cow's either gonna stay or get more milk. Or